Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. This is optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And today, thanks to the folks at Sideshow Collectibles, we're going to be taking a look at their new 1/6 scale Star Wars R5-D4. The little droid with the bad motivator that, if Luke Skywalker picked this, well, it probably would have made for a very short Star Wars movie. But for the package, you got a really nice image of R5 there in the background, with the Star Wars text, 6 scale right there. Come around on this side, you can see that there's nothing really there other than the Star Wars and Disney logo on that side. This side, same kind of thing. On the back, it's just another image of R5-D4. And then the side here has a little magnetic clasp that when you open it, you can see yet another image of R5 here on the inside, as well as the clamshell that holds the figure within. Really very simple for the actual packaging, but I do like it. The little magnetic section right here does add a little bit of, a premium feel to it, which I really do appreciate. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, so here we have R5-D4, affectionately known as Red, opened up and out of its packaging. Now Red here was purchased from the Jawas on a Tatooine by Uncle Owen and Luke Skywalker. And it was ultimately because of a bad motivator on this guy that made Uncle Owen and Luke Skywalker reject this and essentially demand a replacement, which turned out to be R2-D2. Now, the whole story for Star Wars would be completely different if, R2 never made his way to Luke Skywalker, which is actually spurred on actual written information that's been put out there that said that R2 actually sabotaged R5, basically under the orders of Princess Leia, to do whatever it takes to get R2 to meet with Obi-Wan Kenobi, which resulted in R2 sabotaging this guy. Now that's the way that it's, kind of written, and most people accept that as being part of the story, but I think since Disney has taken over, a lot of that stuff that has come previously has been washed out. Now, I don't know if that's the case with this, but regardless, this is still a cool little droid. Now, when you get him out of the package, there is a little bit of assembly that's required. You do have some instructions right here. Shows you how to activate the action feature and install his antenna. As you can see, I have one that's on there right now. You do get an extra one just in case anything happens to that. So accessory-wise, you do get 2 of those guys. And then you come around here to the front, and as you can see, you have one of the restraining bolts right here. You also do get a second one. Both of these are magnetic, and it's used to actually open up his little compartments that are kind of throughout his body, but we'll take a look at that here in a second. So you do get 2 of them, one as a backup in case anything happens, but you can just leave that one right there, and it kind of helps round out that look. So accessory-wise, that really is about it for it. But the main feature on this is just the overall awesome look in detail that is put into this. You can see some really great sculpting and actual paintwork on here. One thing that's really nice is you get a very dirty sort of look with this. All the way throughout it, you come down here to the tread section, you can definitely see some dirt kind of thrown in there on the arms as well. You can see what looks like dirt mixed in with some grease and things like that. You have that here on his actual head, specifically here like in the face area as well. I mean, just absolutely terrific amount of detail. You do have some very kind of tacky looking futuristic hologram sort of things right here, where as you move that around you can see the color variation and things, and I mean that's kind of the stuff that they would do back in the 70s to kind of make something look futuristic. They would put these multicolored holograms and things on there. So I mean it's cool that they did it. But overall, I mean, the sculpting on here is terrific. I mean, you got some nice copper wiring down here. Again, the silver paint on here is very, very nice. You come down here to the bottom, you can see the wheels. And then again, on the bottom, you can see a lot more of that dirt on there. Which makes sense, I mean, because he's going to be rolling around like that, and a lot of the dirt's going to get kicked up on there. So, I mean, that's really very cool. Now, body-wise, he does look a lot like R2-D2, as you would expect. The head is obviously different, but a fairly similar design. You come around here to the top of it, and you can see the little kind of wedge-shaped patterns on there. You've got some internal detail here along the side. Really very, very cool. Articulation-wise, as you can see, his head does rotate a full 360 degrees. So you can get a nice range of motion and posability kind of options with it. Up here at, I guess, his shoulders, they do rotate forward and back. So you can stand them up straight like so. You can take this lower section. This can actually collapse in towards the body, so you can position it where he's kind of standing up straight in a more kind of resting sort of pose. And then, like I said, you can angle these back, and then these sections right here also are on hinges, so you can position those. You can collapse this all the way up into his body if you really wanted to. I don't know why you would want to do that. I mean, I guess you could and have him kind of sit like that, or fly, I suppose. You can bring this all the way down. It will lock into place like that, and then you can angle these back. This section right here is also on a little hinge, so you can position that all the way back just like that and get him in a more kind of moving kind of pose. So you do get some articulation in it, as you would expect. This keeps moving around because it's just magnetic. But like I was showing before, you got 3 compartments that can actually open. This one right here, you just use that little magnet and it opens it up very nicely. Coming in to get a better look at that, I'm trying to get the light in there, but you can see some really nice kind of worn out detail in there. Really spectacular how that turned out. You can see the little metal piece right there, and then using the little magnetic piece right here, you can take it, put it there. You can open that section up as well, and then you get access to more internal sections. And then for a final piece, you got this right here that lifts. This one's a little bit more tricky to do, so sometimes it helps to just use your finger to kind of get it. I mean, it does have a magnetic clasp on there as well, but because it kind of hinges outward, it gets a little bit stuck. But you can see some great detail on the inside as well. So it's cool that you can actually open all that up and you know, get the inner workings on R5. Really is very, very cool. And you can, you know, have other characters kind of interacting and acting like they're working on it, and then they just close very nicely. And then again, you just put that little bit right there. Now the cool part about this is he does actually come with a bad motivator. To access that, it's a little bit tricky because, again, I don't have fingernails, but what you do is you take this little middle eye section and you pull this forward. Now, I'm going to use a little razor blade here. What you need to do is, and I'm going to be very careful, but you just kind of wedge here in the back. If you have fingernails, it's a lot easier, but you just take this and then you pull it forward, and once you pull it out far enough, I got to get a good leverage point on there. Pull it out far enough, and that whole top section pops out. I mean, and that's absolutely terrific. And coming in to take a little bit closer of a look at that, you can see you got the little motivator that just sticks right up, just like so. You got this little panel that kind of moves out of the way. To get it back in there, you just take it, you push it down, you'll hear it lock into place, and then you close out like that. So again, bringing this in, again, if you have fingernails, it's a little bit easier to do it, but I'm just going to be very careful with this razor blade. So you just pull this up, you pull it forward, and then that whole thing pops out. And it's cool because now you can have, you know, Luke Skywalker, you know, saying, hey, you know, Uncle Owen, his motivator's bad. I mean, it's just really neat that they included that in there. I dig that. And then again, you just take the little piece, you put that down, and then you close that up just like so. So really great detail on the whole thing. I mean, everything on here does look pretty good. Now, it is a 6 scale figure, so it fits with the rest of your 6 scale figures. But for a height, kind of, let me get him standing up completely straight here. You have him going from the treads to the top of the antenna at about 8.5 inches or so, and maybe about 8 3/4, and then you can see about 7 1/4 inches if you don't include the antenna. So scale wise, that's what you're looking at for the actual height of the figure. So I mean, this is a really great piece. It's definitely one that I think completionists are going to want to have. I don't know necessarily if a lot of, you know, just casual collectors are going to want this, because it's a fairly niche sort of thing on him. But I mean, he is cool, and I think that Star Wars fans in general are going to like it. It's a well done piece, and he's kind of just a fun sort of, you know, throwback, I guess. And that's something I really do dig on this guy. I mean, some of the droids just in general were some of the most iconic parts on, you know, the film itself. And a lot of these just have a lot of character just in of themselves. And R5 definitely has that. So if this is a figure that you'd be interested in adding to your collection, he is available at Sideshow Collectibles. So all you have to do to pick him up is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to Sideshow where you can check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of their Star Wars figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that if you like this video, to please like and share it. Also, be sure to subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you never miss a future review of mine. And as always, until next time, I'll talk to you later.